You are listening to a Barry Long podcast. For information about Barry Long, to download more podcasts, or to purchase any of his wide range of books, video or audio publications, visit barrylong.org. That's barrylong.org.
Today, I'm going to introduce you in your own experience to something that is infinite. There's a lot of talk about infinity, but there's no infinity, real infinity in your experience. But I'm going to demonstrate it to you. And that is very rare, of course, because this is a finite existence. And we are, as it were, finite, in finite bodies, and every thought is finite. Everything is finite, so where are we going to find this infinity? Well, we'll do that. Of course, we would normally look for science to demonstrate infinity to us, but their idea of infinity is to go into space, which is a sensory space made by the brain, and that's not infinity at all. That's just a sensory infinity, and I'm not talking about a sensory infinity, such as the universe, the so-called universe out there, which is supposed to be real. Now, the universe that you see around you and the stars at night are not real. They are relatively real. That means that they are produced by our brain's projection of a sensory universe, of a sensory body, of sensory trees, of sensory stars, of sensory heavens, sensory motor cars. Everything is of our senses, produced by our senses. Nothing is real. Everything in sense passes away, or dies, or disappears. And science is still burrowing away into this material sensory universe, and never realizing that it cannot and is not the truth, because what is the truth does not pass away, disappear, as they and their predecessors all did. Now, to make it clear what is the universe certainly is true. It certainly is real. And if this is a sensory projection, it is a sensory projection of what is real. And the real universe is inside of us, deep down in that cone that we are endeavouring to enter and have intimations of, and to actually realise the extraordinary depths of it. In there, the universe, or the cosmos as it's best to call it, the cosmos is energetically present in every one of us in its reality as an energy. That energy is behind the brain, and that then, the brain, its proximity to the brain, makes the brain project a sensory, formal, universal cosmos. Because the brain produces all forms and divides everything. The brain is a divider. So it divides what is energetically absolutely one, which is the universe, universe, one verse. It divides the universe up into stars and people and this and that, and the brain is a divider, a sensory divider. In your own experience, you can see that. And it is important in the spiritual life for you not just to wander around looking for God or whatever it is. It is certainly important to increase your intelligence by giving up your negativity. It is certainly important to increase your intelligence by being able to look into your body and see what is real in there. For intelligence, if it can only see what is real in the situation, becomes more intelligent, more swift. And to perceive or grasp the idea of what I'm going to demonstrate to you later requires a swiftness of intelligence that was very rare on this earth. Very rare. But I'm going to show it to you so that you can see from now on in your life how often you can perceive and be this infinity. So I was saying that the spiritual life is to not just go into what is immediately inside your body, but is to look around and hear from the Master the realities of living and life, realities beyond your own brain. To listen to the Master because he's supposed to have realized things that are beyond the normal perception. And his job, and the reason he's allowed to realize those by the will, is that he has the will, given the will and the ability to convey it to the people so that they themselves may grasp and practice and then do the same as he has done, realize all these truths, such as the one about the universe or cosmos being absolutely energetically inside you now. All one energy, all one beautiful, fantastic energy now, which the brain divides up into sensory projections and forms, such as you and I and all the rest of it and the stars and the whole magnificent sensory projection. So it's a sensory projection, and you should be able to hear that and demonstrate that in your own experience, because it stops you from becoming too identified with this sensory projection. Because when you're too identified with the sensory projection, as most people are, there is a fear of death. Because you do not have the knowledge of death, therefore what you don't have the knowledge of, you fear. And the idea of the spiritual life is to reach a place, as I mentioned yesterday, a place of realization of immortality, so that you know without any question, so that if anyone questioned you about it, any scientist, anyone at all, you can go on for a day or 2 days or 3 days demonstrating it or talking about it and describing what it is. Because it is you. Once you're immortal, you are immortal. Means you cannot die, because you know that everybody dies, but I cannot die. And that is my intelligence, which cannot die. And my intelligence eventually, once it is swift enough, when intelligence is swift enough, what does it become? It becomes consciousness, which knows everything without having to know anything. A magnificent place of peace. No more questions. No more discontent. What a wonderful place it is, and it's all due to the speed of the intelligence becoming equal to consciousness. And that's what you're here for. And that's what everybody's here for. But oh, what a trudging existence it is for all the people trying to work out what it's all about. It's just about becoming more intelligent. And that is not the ability to work out the Sydney Morning Herald crossword puzzle, or to understand Einstein's theory, which is all related to relativity of sensory perception and sensory existence. No truth in it whatever, except for the relativity of sensory existence and the movement of matter. That's the only truth of it, because it's all projection. And you'll notice that most of these scientists have a dreadful love life, a dreadful history of their love lives. Couldn't love woman, couldn't love them, didn't know how to love them, but they knew how to write theories. Now, what's life about? If it's not about love and peace, real peace, and the tremendous knowledge that you hear me speaking from my consciousness, what's life about? Writing books, quoting other scientists, what they have said, and feeding more onto that? Or how about being original? How about talking about love, which is what we all need, and truth? My God, how wonderful truth is, to be able to be honest, to be able to be simple. What a wonderful thing it is to be simple. How many people in your life out there do you know who are simple? The children are about the closest you can get to it, but they're soon becoming unsimple, complicated, fearful, believing scientific theories, and not relating at all to the inner life, which is death. Death of this body and these senses and this brain. Now, in most of the stories and self-knowledge that has been expressed in human experience, it sounds as though light is consciousness. Light is an expression of consciousness in this sensory existence. So let's have a look at it. This is not what I'm going to reveal to you. I'm just talking the whole thing. I want you to look at it. The light at the end of the tunnel is a word that we use, is an expression we use to describe something that is beyond our reasoning and everything, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's something beautiful. And how many people who have had near-death experiences are in a tunnel, which is very common, near-death experience, who are in a tunnel and they see a light at the end of the tunnel, a beautiful light. In that sense, they are talking about consciousness, something that is magnificent, and yet it is described as light. There's the hymn writer who wrote, "Lead kindly light beneath the encircling gloom, lead thou me on. The night is dark, meaning their self is dark, and I am far from home, meaning I'm far from being what I am. Lead thou me on." So in that sort of inspirational poetry, there is this acknowledgement of light being something very important to us, which I say is consciousness demonstrated or projected in the world. Then there is the light of the day. How we love the light. We go to sleep in the dark. Our system starts to go quiet until the light rises from the sun. And up we get, and we're filled with new energy, and we're all alive, rejuvenated by going into the dark of sleep. And then the light comes. The consciousness comes, doesn't it? We regain consciousness, it is said, after anesthetic or after sleep. I'm conscious again. I'm in the light. I'm sure you can say other examples of how light is synonymous in this existence with consciousness, and how we love it, the light. Now, if we go back to science, we see that science also is busily engaged in analysing, dissecting, and doing everything with light. And specifically, according to science, the speed of light is an absolute. There is nothing, according to science, that can exceed the speed of light. So that does make light pretty important, doesn't it, even scientifically? An absolute. And yet this absolute is demonstrably not absolute, demonstrably finite and material, this light from the sun. Because the light that the scientists can measure, the light that's around us according to scientific theory, takes 8 minutes to travel from the sun to the earth. Well, that's not much of an absolute to me. What do I do in those 8 minutes? You know, I can hop in the car and I can drive up to Kingscliff in those 8 minutes, and it's still trundling along. And so they call that an absolute because of their lack of self-knowledge. And they worship that speed of light. And because they can't go beyond the speed of light, they develop a theory of relativity. And as you can't be in all positions at once, you have to imagine a place where you are in all positions at once, and you develop a theory of relativity. Absolute rubbish. Except in this external projection, material projection, and the theories developed by science, which is a world of its own. Now, at this stage, I'm going to interrupt, and I would like us to go into the body, because what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to reveal to you, requires a good deal of intelligence to receive. Intelligence that science does not have. So, let us go in and clear our bodies of the tensions that we have there by our intelligent focus on the body, until we can get the focus of the whole body without any body. If that's possible, you don't have to try to do it. It just happens once you are able to disidentify with your mind and emotions, which always, from looking in the mirror, keep creating our bodies. So close the eyes. And now we are using the one thing that we have, the one of the two things that we have that are real in our existence. Our intelligence, our intelligent focus. That means without any interpretation, without any definitions, without any voices coming from the mind or emotions. We don't want any monitor, thank you. We just want the pure intelligence, my pure intelligence, and to focus on the pure sensation that is everywhere in my body. But just for practice, let us start with the head. Now, the skull is not that easy to get the sensation in, although it's there, of course, because there's not much flesh around the skull. But when you come to the soft side of the face, there you can get the sensation very easily. In the ears, the nose, the eyes, cheeks, everything is sensating beautifully, perfectly. And because I am intelligent, I am not creating any emotion. I am displacing emotion that might be there as tension by just simply seeing, registering the pure sensation in my face and head. Then I can come down to the throat, and there is likely to be a little more tension than other places. Likely to be. But if I can only get to the sensation there, which of course is there, there it is. then that tends to release any tension that's in my throat. Because nothing can stand the focus of pure intelligence. Nothing can stand against it in time. So now I have my whole face and my throat. I've got the whole lot of that sensating beautifully. I can always depend on my sensation being there, my pure sensation. It's a wonderful thing. Never fails me. Always there. Always an anchor for me to put my intelligence on and get rid of my confusion of what I'm doing. Then I can come down to my chest or my shoulders. Shoulders, of course, have an accumulation of tension in them that allow us to swing the hammer, swing the axe, put our arms around somebody and squeeze. That's all stored, that energy is stored in the muscles of the shoulders. And that's okay. As I say, that's the good part. That's the value of the self that does tend to accumulate in the shoulders to give us the strength of wielding things, using the iron, picking up heavy saucepans, all those things. And that's where it should be. And it shouldn't be an overdose of it either, because the self is always endeavouring to overdose itself into every part of our body. And the shoulders is one place where it tends to accumulate more than is necessary. And so therefore many people need massages in the shoulders, particularly, to get rid of an excess of tension, the energy to use the arms and do the ironing. So an excess of any of this energy is what we're endeavouring not to get. We endeavour to get balanced. Not too much, not too little. We don't have to worry much about too little. It's too much. Because often when we have too much tension, which is the self that's risen up from the stomach into the shoulders, when we get too much tension in the shoulders, it soon goes up to the head. And we get a headache, or we get an eye ache, or we can't stop thinking. So best to endeavour to intelligently see the tension in the shoulders and to just see it. You don't have to do anything about it, although it will seem to drop down towards the stomach back home, leaving the residue that is necessary for the strength of movement. Just the mere fact of putting your intelligence on the pure sensation of these places automatically reduces the tension in those places, although you may not register that relief immediately. But done regularly, by being intelligent regularly, you will make your body supple, easy, soft, lovable, loving and yet firm. And then we come to the chest. Now the chest is a wide area and there's distinct sensation there. Again, we don't want too much sensation in the chest. So to intelligently focus on the sensation in the chest is to reduce the unnecessary tension that gathers there and can cause pain, a band of pain or tightness. Now you'll notice that no thought has been necessary, no interpretation has been necessary. All we are doing is seeing what is. Pure sensation. Then down to the solar plexus. Sensation is not so easy to register there, because it is a very, very fine, sensitive part of the body is the solar plexus. But it's there. And you can go through the solar plexus to the spine, and there you can get some good sensating in the back. Good sensation there, good, easy, because that's where we protect our whole fine and soft part of the frontal part of the body by exposing our back, and so our back has to have more, what would we say, force in it to repel what it is that we turn our back on. There it is. So now we've got the sensation in the head, the cheeks, the face, pure sensation in the throat. We've got the pure sensation in the chest, pure sensations, solar plexus through to the back, pure sensation in the back, then down to the stomach, the belly, which is the home of force, the home of the self, the home of tension. But now it is quiescent, we see. There's just the pure sensation there, no emotion. Just the pure sensation. And of course it's very easy then to have the pure sensation in the buttocks where you're sitting, all round the genital region, the legs, right down to the feet, and also the hands and arms. Now you can't keep dodging around, really, from the face to the legs, to the hands, to the arms, to the shoulders, to the stomach, the belly. You can't keep dodging around like that. That's a good exercise, like climbing a ladder, to do. But because you can't get everything at once, you have to give up these forms of legs and arms and heads and everything, and eventually you'll be able to get the pure sensation of the whole of the body without any shape to it. That's because the body really doesn't have any shape, only in the sensory projection generated by the brain. So if we try to dodge around, it will be the mind which we're endeavouring to keep still. It will be endeavouring to make the connections between all these places. So best to give up and do what is natural. You don't need the body. All you need is the pure sensation, and that has no shape. Eventually you can get the whole lot of it. There it is. But remembering that we are sensory creatures, and from the habit of our sensory existence, we create different parts of our bodies in our imagination. Now, the body is not imaginative outside sitting on the chair. I'm not saying that's imaginative. But inside, where we are now, we do create an attention that creates the leg, a focus on the leg. But that's not necessary. I'm not denying that the leg is there, but I'm saying that the consciousness can reach such a point beyond attention on the body. It can reach a point where there is no body in the consciousness. And that's what I'm endeavouring to convey to you by practicing as we are doing. And you will do it. If you practice this really and seriously and intelligently, one day, if not now, you will find that you are the whole sensation of the body, pure sensation, has no shape, and I have it in my intelligent focus. Of course, that is the whole purpose of what we are doing, to become so intelligent, which means so conscious, that my consciousness becomes faster than the projection of my body. And I am then inside able to realize that there is nothing in here. First of all, there's the pure sensation, but then that disappears, and then there is nothing, and I am as nothing. My intelligence is as nothing. It is not identified with anything. Therefore, I am as nothing. Now, that's a holy state. This is the state that everyone living in any way the divine life, trying to find God, this is what they're endeavouring to do. But usually they are following some sort of concept, and this is not a concept. This leads to a reality of nothing and a consciousness that is beyond the necessity of the body. Now you will see from this exercise that intelligence means to see things as they are. That's what intelligence means. I see things as they are. In the external physical relative reality, I see things as they are. In my love life, I see things as they are instead of imagining and emotionalizing it. I can see things as they are because I am intelligent and not attached to anything, because I am closer to consciousness, which is attached to nothing. I can look into my work, I can look into anything, and I can see things as they are instead of imagining things, as most people do, by personalizing, because there's no person here. There's only intelligence. And intelligence doesn't have a person. It's just what it is. The ability to see without interpretation or judgment, just to see things as they are. No person. So this is a form of depersonalizing yourself. Breaking the habit of personalizing everything that you see, hear, smell, taste. Now it is good to practice this as often as possible, remembering that the pure sensation is your anchor. And people are always saying they're confused. They're confused because they have nothing to hold on to except their emotions and minds, which are confusing. What you need is something real to hold on to focus on, and that is the pure sensation, and then you cannot be confused, because that's what you're doing. That's the only thing you can do in this life, is to focus intelligently on pure sensation. That does everything. It makes you intelligent. It helps you to live your life rightly and truly, to see where you are emotionalizing things and making problems of things because you are now intelligent. It is intelligence that we need, instead of identifying with our emotions and our feelings. We need to be intelligent because there's no feeling in intelligence. Pure sensation is not a feeling. It is pure sensation. It is sensation. It is sensational. It is not a feeling. A feeling is an interpretation of it. So, please, don't say to anyone, "I'm confused." It means that you have lost intelligent touch with the inward life which begins with your pure sensation. Please don't say you don't know what to do to get inside your body to come into me, the being inside your body. Please don't say that, because it's a lie. You know, pure sensation is the way into the body, into intelligence, your own intelligence. And you mustn't use any effort. It must be very natural, perfectly natural. So easy, so perfectly natural. This is the beginning of the original state of being of man and woman. After this place, my consciousness can enter the place where I have no body. And I can tell you that in the beginning of this evolutionary existence I had no body. I was an impulse, a presence, a psycho-spiritual presence, which can be called, for the want of another word, spirit. And spirit has no body. Except that in the physical projection, a spirit appears to be in the projection. That's us. But when I am spirit, I have no body. Just like now, the body can disappear. Eventually, even with my eyes open, my body can disappear, not as a physical projection. That doesn't disappear. But my attachment to it disappears, you see. And I am then as nothing. And I will say, as any real master has said, I do not exist. I am nothing. And the people would say, but you have a body, you do exist. You say, of course I have a body, and my body exists, but I do not. For I am not attached to my body, I am free of it, although I am my body. Now, don't get tired and don't get bored or don't get disinterested. Now, come on, back you come, please. Start with the pure sensation anywhere that you can find it. Start with it there and then gradually go through the whole body again. Don't get bored or unhappy. Don't think that you need a change or need something. You do not need anything. The exercise is to become intelligent, more intelligent, which very few people in this world are. Now, open your eyes, please. Not losing touch with the sensational body. Don't be distracted. Don't lose touch with the sensational body inside. It's just one sensation. Now, it'll be very easy when you're not with me to not be able to find time to do this. Be very, very easy, because yourself is time and impatience, and it'll always want to do something else than do something intelligent. So be ready for that. It should be a pleasure to you to do this, and it will be a pleasure for you to do this the more that you do it. It's so easy, it's so effortless, because it is an effortless state. And if you've got to use effort, you're not doing it rightly. The pure sensation will not let you down. It will always, every moment, be there. It will be true. All I've got to do is have the intelligence to be able to focus on what is there that is true, and not be distracted by what is not true, which are my thoughts and emotions, and my imaginings and my interpretations. Pure sensation will be true to you, is true to you. Never wavers. It's like God, unwavering, unchanging. And that's a very rare thing in this existence, to find something that doesn't waver. That's because it's so close to reality. Now, what I'm going to tell you now is about light. Recalling that the scientists are concerned with the speed of the light, which they reckon is an absolute, and of course it is not an absolute except in their theoretical, material minds. And what seems to have been said by many poets and many people, the light at the end of the tunnel, lead kindly light, that light is some sort of goodness, some sort of fineness that leads us into some place that we do not know, except to say it's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's life at the end of existence. Now, since I have said that the scientific speed of light is not absolute, and I've demonstrated it is not absolute because it cannot cross space immediately. There's an 8-minute pause in the demonstration that I've used. 8 minutes, you know, truth is immediate. What is absolute is absolutely immediate. That's why I don't use my mind. I am informed every moment by the immediate consciousness that I am. Immediate. Everything that's real is immediate. It's only in minds and theories and emotions that things are not immediate. And the best demonstration of the wrongness of science is that they have measured the speed of light to be an absolute that takes 8 minutes to come from the sun to the earth. Just shows they're on the wrong track somewhere or other. Although they might be able to prove it in 1,000 ways, it does not matter. It still takes 8 minutes. It is not immediate. So the light that they're looking at is not real, because it's not immediate. The light of the sun is material, finite, because it takes 8 minutes. It's finite. And what is finite is not real. It will disappear. Everything disappears. Because everybody dies, and the people that saw it today will die tomorrow, and it won't be there for that consciousness that they were. Only for succeeding consciousnesses or awarenesses. Now, light is consciousness. Let me say that. Let me assume that you accept that light is consciousness. So I'm going to show you the speed of light, real light, the speed of my consciousness. I'm going to show you, because nobody has ever said this before. For I am unique. I'm going to show you the speed of light, which is the speed of consciousness in your experience now. Now, what was my last word? In your experience now. Now is the speed of light. Now is the speed of consciousness. Now, if you look at it intelligently, you will see that it moves at such a speed that you can't say it moves at all. Are you with me? I mean, you've done enough intelligent exercises to grasp something of what I'm saying. Now is consciousness. There's no previous now. It's always now. Is that true? And yet there is, if we like to use our minds, there is the last moment. It becomes historical what happened then, but it's not now. And there's no now tomorrow. It's always now, now. And that is what it is to be conscious or intelligent, is to be able to be this. To be able to be this now, now. Not as an effort, but it's just conscious. As you become more intelligent, you can't help but be this. Now, now. Now, in the now, in being now, there is nothing to investigate. You will see that. How can you investigate now? Everything happens now. So everything happens in consciousness, right? You can't find anything that doesn't happen now. Are you with me? You're not drifting off, are you? For goodness sakes, you're hearing something from the Master for the first time in life on earth. Now is the speed of consciousness, which is the speed of the true light of God. For consciousness is God, truth, rightness. And now is it. And everything happens now. Nothing ever happened yesterday because it was now. That's how powerful it is. And everything in your life will happen now. Even tomorrow cannot be now until now. We are talking about God, aren't we? We are talking about an extraordinary power. We are talking about something that is so light that it frees you of all your darkness, of all your silly ideas, of all the scientific notions, of all that crap that is important, where only consciousness is important. My consciousness, which is your consciousness, which is God's consciousness, which is now. We are talking about reality, aren't we? And doesn't everything happen now? And doesn't that suggest to you, even in a rational sense, doesn't that suggest to you that this consciousness is mighty powerful? Because nothing happens other than now. I once was going to write a letter to Professor Hawking, the brilliant boy of scientific speculation. But I couldn't, because he's not intelligent enough to grasp it. He'd still be looking at his black holes and the speed of light and measuring how far the nearest star is by speed of light, which is not true. The nearest star is inside of me. Everything is inside of me. But then you've got to have the consciousness to be that, haven't you? Everything is inside of me. And that's why there is no death, because death is an impossibility except of the human body and of all things, including the palms and trees around us. But you see, I-consciousness can never ever die. I am now. I am always now. Wherever now is, I am. Wherever I am now is. And no effort. It's just a state of intelligence. Very swift, like now. Have you ever known anything more swift than now? Even a moment cannot capture now, because now's now. Am I intelligent enough to perceive now and to keep my attention on now? Now. Not by effort, not by using the mind, but by using my innocence. For I am this now, this consciousness in existence. Now, do not be concerned if you don't get this immediately, please. It is an exercise. No scientist, you will notice, could possibly measure what it is, because it's always now. You haven't got anywhere to go to measure it from. You know, no pause, no distance. You can't measure it. It's now. You can't absent yourself sufficiently, go out of it, to measure it, to see it, because anything you've got to absent yourself from is not you, and now is me. Consciousness. Now, would you please close your eyes? Focus not on what I have said, focus on the pure sensation in the body. Keep focused on that, please. That'll stop you from thinking. And then you can receive what I have said about now. You cannot think about it. You must hold on to the sensation in the body and do nothing else. Then intelligence is now. Now don't think about it, please. You cannot think about now. You just hold on to the pure sensation in your body with your pure intelligence, and that is now. Now do not fall into the trap of trying to think about now. Just hold on to the pure sensation with your pure intelligence. That is now. It is the only way to be now. You must not use your cause and effect mind, your rational mind, your scientific mind. You will get it wrong, and you'll put a pause in there equal to 8 minutes or something. Just hold on, focus on the pure sensation in the body, and that is now. You can only do that now, and that is now. Now no thinking, please. Come back to the point of pure sensation somewhere in your body or the whole of your body. Put your intelligence on that, and that is now. And now open the eyes, please, keeping the focus of your intelligence on the pure sensation in your body, and that is now. And you are now. Like I am. That's all. That's all. Practice this, and if you can't get it, because the mind tries to get in the act and work it out or interpret. But any time when you're not with me you can't get it, remember, please, store in your memory that the way to start again is to purely focus on the pure sensation in your body and work up or down until you've got the whole lot there, and then stay there. And don't be distracted by your senses, by your memory, by anything. Stay there, because that's the sign of intelligence. Intelligence does not waver. But the human mind is always wavering. And the human emotions are always wavering. They love you one day, they don't love you the next. They're moody or they're unhappy, confused. The human mind and emotions are always wavering. Intelligence does not waver. It is there. Like pure sensation is always there. Because it's now. And now is always here. Now. Now. There's no previous now. Now. And what a speed that is. Whew. What an amazing speed that is. That now, as soon as I utter it, it's not now. It's gone. What a speed that is. Now you wanted to know the truth, and I've told you the truth. This is consciousness. This is my consciousness, which is your consciousness. This is the speed of the light of consciousness. You can imagine how absurd it is to try and develop a methodology about now. To have debates and discussions, scientific debates and discussions by psychiatrists and scientists about now. I mean, it's hard enough for them to be present now without their minds and emotions, let alone being intelligent enough to be constantly, unwaveringly, intelligently focused on the pure sensation, which leads to the perception or the consciousness of now, which even as I started talking has all moved on, hasn't it, at an enormous speed. You know, the speed of light is an absolute in this materialistic mind of the scientists, in this materialistic society. So you can see how far behind it is the truth of my consciousness, which is now. And note that everything happens now. So everything happens in my consciousness. Although speed cannot even be described about it, it is absolutely still. Although it is so swift, it is absolutely still. What a magnificent thing it is. What a wondrous thing it is to know, for you to be with someone who can demonstrate to you consciousness that nobody has ever said before in this earth that I've ever heard of, or that you've ever heard of. That you should be with me, the consciousness of now, which of course is your consciousness if you will only love it. If you will only love life enough, if you will only love me enough, the consciousness enough, if you will only love me more than your negativity, more than your thoughts, more than your wantings, more than your tryings, if you will only love me more than that, then I am yours. I am your consciousness, for I am now. That's all. And I am not special. I am the same as you. Only I have given my life to this, by grace, of course, so that I might reveal to you before I die, so that someone one day might pass on again this wonderful, wonderful mystery that's not a mystery of consciousness, which is now. Always now. So don't be discouraged if you hear it but cannot quite get the idea of it. Do not be discouraged. I'm not here to cause you any frustration or any difficulty. Don't be discouraged. The idea is to be intelligent enough to just hear me. Intelligence is to be able to listen and hear without judgment, without interpretation by the human mind or emotions, just to hear what I am saying. That in itself is a purification, to be able to listen to me when I reveal something unique, which others who are not consciousness may endeavour to communicate, but it will never work. Because only I, consciousness, only I can do it. Nobody can learn it, although they will attempt to do it and write books about it or endeavour to. Only I, consciousness, am now. And you cannot write a book about now. For I am now. In this body and in that body. I am the consciousness that is now. That everything happens in my consciousness now. Now, would anyone like to ask me an intelligent question, please? Now, I do not mean to discourage you by saying that word, but I do have to say I don't want any intellectual or mental questions coming that will need some explanation, because I can't explain it, can I? I can only demonstrate it to you. Yes, this gentleman over here?
What you said yesterday resonated with me very strongly about being wholehearted, and I think I've got a concept around something quite deep about what you say about going into me. It's a question around being out of existence. I guess I have a fear. I kind of like to know that I exist. So it's that knowing I exist. And you draw on the analogy of deep dreamless sleep. I was wondering if you could perhaps clarify if...
well, I will. Yes, I will.
Thank you.
You see, you're not frightened at all of deep dreamless sleep, are you?
No.
No. So that is a natural thing that you're used to, and you know that there's no problem there, and in that place you're out of existence, consciously, or with your awareness, aren't you?
Yes, I like the idea of knowing I exist.
Yeah, well, I think that's everybody's problem, because that's why we fear death, because we think death is the end of our existence, which it certainly is, and we don't know what's beyond it. But you can't fear the unknown. That's impossible to fear the unknown. We think we can fear the unknown, but you can't. What you fear is what you've thought of or conceptualized, that I am going to die, and like I've seen other people die, and that's the end of me, and I won't exist. Now, the fact is you will not exist, that is true, so you're going to lose your existence. And so that's right. That's a great fear in the self, to lose its existence. But you haven't yet perceived strongly enough that there is no death, and there is a consciousness beyond death, which is the unknown, until it is realized. And that's what we're talking about, isn't it? So most people want to know they exist.
I was following you very deeply about how we were at that point of now, and I still have a sense of knowing. There's almost the intelligence knows I am now. But I guess you're trying to take us a further step where we don't have that almost personal knowledge of...
No, you don't have any knowledge of now. You are now. You see, to be something, there's no separation from you and the object. You can't be water, so there's a separation between us and the water. That's how we happen to know about water and can investigate it. But if I am water, I cannot know water. Can I?
No. Well, can I ask your state of consciousness now? Are you aware of being, where you are now?
Yes.
There's no time in your perception of what's going on? It's just like a...
Look, I try to tell people this. When the masters use the word enlightenment and all this bullshit, I've said in Andrew Cohen's magazine, I've said it, and he's still going on what is enlightenment. But then, of course, nobody believes me. I say, enlightenment is now. Yeah, well, I think that's about the result that I get in the book. So I am enlightened because enlightenment is now, and I am now. Now, you ask me what's the state of my consciousness. I'm listening with my ears, because I've got ears. I'm looking around where I look, and I see what I see, and I hear what I hear, and I'm here. What's surprising about that? I'm not looking for anything. That's the difference. I think you, and this is not being derogatory in any way, you are looking for something. And the whole world is looking for something in the spiritual life. And the answer is, there's nothing to look for. It is here now. I am here now. I've got my senses. I've got nothing arising, because if I had anything arising, I'd have feelings, wouldn't I? And feelings will disconnect me from what I'm doing here. I have to be absolutely alert and as intelligent as my as my matter will allow. And here I am. I'm not looking for anything. I'm listening to you. I'm here. And I've got nothing arising. I never have anything arising inside of me, no feelings. I don't have any feelings of love. Now, everybody loves to have feelings of love, and that's why their love affairs turn into misery and unhappiness, because they've got feelings or interpretations of what love is instead of being love. You understand? If you are love, then you don't have to have any feelings of it, interpretations of it. If you are love. If you enjoy love, then you don't have to interpret it, you don't have to fantasize about it. If you enjoy love, well, I enjoy love. I know about you, I enjoy love. The love I'm talking about then was the love, for instance, of man and woman, but I'm not in that state now, the love between man and woman. I enjoy the love of talking to you and having you respond in terms of truth and consciousness and God. But I don't have any feeling arising in me as a result of that. And after the meeting, I don't go over what I said and what I should have said and what I shouldn't have said, which is the usual thing of people at meetings. If I did that, I would recapitulate and feed myself, and I would destroy my intelligence that by going over what I've done. You should never go over what you've done. You've done it, and that's enough. Yes? Yes. This gentleman? So I'm here now, and I'm seeing Amber take the mic over to the gentleman, you know, and I've got no blazing light in me, you know. I'm just listening to what the gentleman has to say.
Hello, my name's Brian.
Yes, Brian.
So you've just brought us to the state of now, and I am now aware of my nervousness watching you, you're listening to me. So the difference comes down to the fact that somewhere historically something happened to you which keeps you in that clean space of now, whereas I keep resurrecting something else that pulls me away. So we're actually still talking about some historical event that takes me out of this, whereas keeps you in it.
Yes.
And so I'm endeavouring to be in it without understanding what it is that keeps that the self or the history of me that keeps tripping me up, whereas you're not having that problem.
I'm not attached to my history.
So so there's still some bit of me that needs to be informed about how to push that out or keep that out to stay here with you.
Right. So don't be attached to how old you are, meaning the age, whatever numbers. Do not talk about what you've done in your life, good or bad, or adventures or anything. Endeavour to stop doing that so that you break the attachment to your history. Now, I've just about finished my autobiography, and by necessity that's all about the past. But I am not attached to the past, and what I have written there is likely to be of assistance to those people who love the truth as I speak it. But I am not attached to that history. I am not historical, and I think everyone should, as much as possible, not be historical. Just not be historical. I'll give you an example. The ABC, one lady there that put on quite a good, the Search for Knowledge or something, I think. They asked me to go on there, and they sent me a questionnaire. When did you have this life-changing experience? What was your state of mind? What did you discover? What did you do? All about the past. And I had to say, look, if ever you want someone to talk about now, then I'm your man. But as it is, I can't come on your program because I do not enjoy talking about the past. But everybody talks about the past on a program, don't they? They want to know how old you were. They want to know everything. But there is a curiosity, you see. It doesn't have any intent of being made pure by the questions. which is the difference here. You ask your questions and endeavour to find a deeper truth, to get rid of the impulse that's underneath the question. You ask the question to get rid of the question, the questioner. And but these people are entertained by the answers to the questions, particularly history, because everybody's historical, you know. We just love to be historical, like Jesus is an historical figure. Not true at all. Absolutely not true. Jesus or God or truth or Muhammad or Krishna or any of those things which are aspects of God are now. So why would you want to put it into a body of a man that is historical and you don't even know what he looks like? Why don't you just face the fact, this is God now. If I have a spiritual experience, it is always of God now. It's not due to any object of history. It's now. So yes, you're very right. I hear what you say, and endeavour to not allow people to make you historical. But when you are free from your history, indeed, it doesn't matter what you talk about or what you say, because by breaking the attachment to your history, you are free of it. And so you can talk about it as there if you need to use it or anything, but you're not identified with it. Okay? It's amazing, isn't it, how we just travel in this journey into our bodies. Because I trust now, if I ask you, please, would you put your intelligence on the pure sensation? We do lose it when we're listening. We can then lose the contact with our pure sensation until such times as it becomes so subconsciously permanent that I don't have to evermore relate to my pure sensation, because I'm always in that pure sensation or in the nothing that it is. But do that now, please, before we close. There it is. You can do it immediately, you know. You've got the sensation. If you don't, you get the sensation in your belly. If you want to get a central place, it's in your belly. Okay. You must have nothing arising, though, because if you've got emotion arising, that's not pure sensation. That's why I call the word pure sensation, because you could think that emotion was a sensation, because it's got movement in it. But pure sensation is what is always there, whereas emotion is not always there. That changes, fluctuates, goes and comes back again. Whereas this one, pure sensation, is always there. And there it is. Nothing arising, and eventually the ability to be so intelligent to approach consciousness that I can have the pure sensation of my whole body, which has got no shape. That's the amazing thing. You know, that's utterly amazing, that my pure sensation, which is the very basis of my knowing that I exist, it's got no shape. Where immediately the mind that hasn't heard this and is unable to get it, always puts a shape to any sensation. When the reality is that I have no shape. Now, isn't that a beautiful thing? Here I am in a physical existence where I am projected in sense, and I have without doubt a shape. And yet within that projection I have no shape. I am absolutely here. I am absolutely here, but I have no shape, and yet I can come into my senses and see that I do have a shape as a body, but in here I tell you, I have no shape. Now, isn't that a magnificent thing? And because when you're dead, you know you won't have any shape. So this means, my goodness, this is pretty close to death, I think, not to have any shape, and not to have any past, and not to have any history, and not to have anything arising. I mean, you could almost say, you're dead. And I could say, yes, I'm never dead, I'm never born, that's all, you know, because it's different. See, it's a different realm, this inner realm. And it's your realm. It's not just my realm. This is the realm of no shape to the body. A state of consciousness that is moving so fast compared with the sensory perception. This consciousness is moving so fast that there's no need of any shape. Shape is gone. And yet I am. Isn't that amazing? Isn't this what all mystics are trying to describe? Of course it is. Well, I've tried to sum it up again. I'll probably do that for the rest of my life, won't I? But, okay, so thank you all for being here. Thank you very much.
You are listening to a Barry Long podcast. For information about Barry Long, to download more podcasts, or to purchase any of his wide range of books, video or audio publications, visit barrylong.org. That's barrylong.org.